Let's begin by planning out our YouTube. So we're going to be forming an idea, or if you already have a YouTube channel, sort of refining that idea. What we're going to be talking about is something called niche building. It's either niche or niche, depending on how you say it. But basically what it comes down to is focusing on an area that your YouTube channel is going to be about. So every YouTube channel that is successful has a certain theme or a certain consistency about it. For example, this is a YouTube channel by Andrew Wong. He is a YouTube personality, and we're going to talk about the different types, but he has a niche of talking about music, showing people how to remix things, showing people different sort of fun musical, I guess you would call like for example, this MIDI unicorn. So he created a unicorn and made it sound good in music. He makes beats out of things. He does stuff for corporate work where he'll take their products and make a song out of it. And he shows all of this. So his sort of niche is personality, music. So it fits that entire market. Anyone who, likes music will come here. They'll probably enjoy this a lot and they'll subscribe to him. So that's what we're going to be working on throughout this sort of unit is we're going to be going through and trying to help build that niche for your YouTube channel. Because if you're too far apart, if you're too spread out in your ideas and you post in a bunch of different areas, people won't want to subscribe because they don't know what they're going to get next. So when you have a certain niche, a certain style about your channel, you can really promote the subscribers because people will be like, oh, this is what we're going to be getting from this channel. I want to see more of that. And it really helps in the long run. So let's get started and let's start coming up with our niches. So what are the different areas or ideas that you could come up with to create a YouTube channel? Well, I like to classify them in 3 different categories, and that is going to be skill, entertainment, and personality. I feel like most videos on YouTube will fit into these 3 in some way, shape, or form, and it just gives us a classification so that we can sort of look at different channels and then, be able to put them into a category and see maybe why they're successful, what they did to get up to the success, and just, be able to group things together. And so, like I said, there's skill, entertainment, and personality. So in skill, we have things like tutorials, show off sort of, I guess you could call crafts. So like maybe showing your skills about how to create a craft, something really complex that looks really awesome, and then sort of inspiring things. So, walkthroughs, talking to people about how to do things, trying to show them how they could do it themselves. So it all revolves around a skill that you have, or maybe you're filming a bunch of different people with skills, but it all comes down to something, some sort of skill. Entertainment is a good majority of YouTube. This comes with sort of comedy sketches, skits, gaming, politics, anything that is in the entertainment realm. So people are watching it to be entertained. Maybe they're watching it to learn something as well, but a lot of times it's just for entertainment value, just to sort of turn their brains off and just watch a little bit. And then the final one is personality. Now, this could be a subcategory of entertainment, but I think that because of YouTube's sort of landscape, it's an entity all of its own. What is personality? Well, it kind of incorporates the lifestyle and the vloggers out there. So, basically vlogging is something that's very new, and it's something that's very new to the world and to YouTube, and it's very, very popular on YouTube. So that's why I kind of wanted to give it its own thing. The reason that it's different than entertainment is because entertainment might want to stick with something, for example, like comedy or gaming. But a personality can do anything. For example, Harley Morenstein is the creator of Epic Mealtime, and he has a vlog that he basically just does anything that he feels like doing. And the reason that he can do that is because he is the personality of the vlog. So everyone comes to watch him do stuff, where in an entertainment realm, people would watch to see what is being done. So they wouldn't come to watch him, they'd come to watch him doing a certain thing like gaming or skits. So that's kind of why I broke those 2 up. So now let's sort of take a journey across YouTube and let's look at some examples in each one of these categories. We're going to start off with the skill-based category. One of the most popular in the filmmaking realm is Video Copilot, hosted by Andrew Kramer, as you can see right here. He really just got popular by posting these really intricate tutorials and making everything sound so easy. So back when he began, he had these things like he would show you how to create explosions, he'd show you how to create sci-fi weapons, grids and lights and missiles and 3D elements, and he'd show it to you in a really fun and a really interesting way. So he showed off his skill, which was an After Effects mastery, and he showed you how to do it, so it had sort of a tutorial spin on it. So if you wanted to go if you really wanted to classify this niche, it would be a tutorial, a skill-based channel with a tutorial and a After Effects focus. So it's very niche based, but it still covers a broad market. Another one is the guys over at AWE and these guys are basically a bunch of different shows put into one channel, and basically what they cover is building things. One of their most popular shows is Man-at-Arms Reforged. They build basically just real weapons from like games and stuff. They build them in real life and they show you the process of how you would build a weapon. So for example, over here we have the Hate Scythe from Warframe. So they build this scythe right here, and it's really interesting to watch them. Even if you're not a sort of a blacksmith guru, or you don't love blacksmithing to death, you still have a lot of entertainment because it combines the genre of gaming and of creation together, and it shows you a really neat element. So it appeals to the niche and then to the broad market as well. And then my channel right here, I basically just post tutorials on Adobe related products, sort of in the realm of Premiere Pro, After Effects, and sometimes into Photoshop and InDesign. And I just post a video every other day, very focused on this topic, and that's why people subscribe, is because they want to learn more about these. So mine is a very skill tutorial Adobe is kind of how you would classify mine. Into the entertainment section, we have Wong Fu Productions. This is an interesting sort of niche, is that it actually focuses a little bit on the Asian American market. Now, it appeals to everybody, but it has a focus on the Asian American market. They choose Asian actors and actresses most of the time, and the entire production team is Asian. And the reason they do this is because they believe that they are underrepresented in the film industry, which I do believe they are decently underrepresented. So they try to correct this by making their own skits, by showing that Asians can be lead stars, and then just having fun with it and showing entertainment value. Next one is Corridor Digital. This is completely different than Wong Fu Productions, where Wong Fu did sort of more love stories and just everyday life skits. Corridor Digital has an entertainment section that is for VFX. So it's just trying to show you some really neat stuff with a sort of a loose story. Maybe it has some comedy in there, but it all comes down to really just a whole lot of VFX action, some really neat effects, basically like an action movie might come out to be. It's an entertaining ride, and it's really fun to watch. And these guys are probably the best in the market at it right now. The other group is, again, completely different than the other two, still in the entertainment realm, but they do skits. And these skits are all about sort of video games in real life, or just sort of pointing out the flaws in video games and then making fun of them. For example, in the D&D tavern, they do like Dungeons and Dragons things like if it was real life. So for example, you go talk to someone and everyone rolls a dice, and then you talk based on how your dice was rolled. Just sort of points out the fun in that. And then you have PUBG and all that sort of stuff coming together. They have a really successful channel because, like I said, it comes with comedy and gaming. It puts those two together, and then it puts real life skits. So it puts that spin on it that no one else is doing, makes them really popular. Then we have over here in the entertainment section, we can start off with probably one of the best YouTubers out there. Not content-wise. I mean, if you like him so far, go for it. I'm not the biggest fan, but he does bring in millions and millions and millions and millions of views a day. So I thought I should definitely put on him in here. It is Jake Paul. He is a personality and a vlogger. You can notice that he will do basically anything because he is a personality. So it doesn't matter what he's doing as long as he is in it. Another one we have is Andrew Wong, which we talked about in the last video. He is a focus sort of on music, where Jake Paul is just sort of like outrageous, crazy things. Andrew Wong is very focused on music production, teaching music, showing music's intricacies, and then sort of just all putting that together. And then finally, we have a lesser known, but still pretty popular one, and that is Tokidoki Traveler. And she basically is a personality vlog of Japan. So everyone watches to see her in Japan. Doesn't have to be completely in Japan because she's a personality, so she can kind of go anywhere. But it does focus with the niche on Japan. So it sort of appeals to everyone who likes Japan, everyone who likes her personality, and then just sort of experiencing weird sort of travel things as well. And so you can see that each one of these that I went through has a specific element. It fits into these three categories, and it fits into one of even the subcategories, but it has a spin on it. Like Corridor Digital is VFX, Wong Fu is Asian American, with also a mix of sort of everyday life and sort of love stories and stuff like that. I am a mix on the Adobe side of things, creation, After Effects tutorials, video games, Japan. anything and everything, and then music. So it all comes down to finding your niche and then finding the spin that you can put on it. And we'll talk a little bit about that later, but sort of come up with an idea and find out where it might fit into these spectrums and where you might try to push and where you can learn from others that have done something similar. I also like to break up the content into two different categories, and this is going to be in the evergreen and the recurring story category. So what are these two? Well, evergreen is sort of new in relation to, time. It's a newer form where you can actually create a video and it'll be good for a really, really long time. It's a video that people can continually get value from. People might come and watch it. Maybe they'll subscribe for more that's similar to it, or maybe they will leave after that. But it'll always have value. Tutorials are a really good sort of example of this. For example, if we went down to, let's say this one right here, how to glitch affect your footage. This is going to be good for a really, really long time. It doesn't matter that in 5 years that things might have changed. As long as Premiere Pro is the same and people want to create a glitch effect, this video will continually get views. So this is sort of an evergreen video. Tutorials fall into this. And the other side is the recurring story, and vloggers a lot of times fall into this, as well as sort of skits or series. And you'll notice on Corridor Digital, they have a bunch of these, which could be evergreen videos, but they sort of lose their luster after you've seen them once. Maybe in 2 or 3 years, you could go back and watch it and get a good laugh again, but people aren't going to continually come back to these, and they will soon become outdated, and they'll lose their views, especially for something like this, which is their series. So you watch it for the story from start to finish, you watch it for the plot twists, for the fun ride, but once you're done with it, very small percentage of people are going to go back and watch this, and it's not going to get as many views 5 years from now as it is right now, where a tutorial or a evergreen video might get those views again in the future, and it might be consistent for the next 10, 15 years, like I said, as long as the tutorial is still relevant. While these, once you watch them, they're kind of cool. Maybe you'll rewatch them a little bit in the future, but over time, they'll slowly start to die off, and people won't watch them. It's important to know what type of content you want to post because there are different strategies for these different types of content. I'm going to be discussing the strategies in the next couple of videos. So let's jump on over there and let's look at what content we want to create and what strategy we might use for that content. So let's discuss the first type, which is the evergreen videos. Now, typically a channel will have a little bit of a mixture between these two types of videos, the evergreen and the recurring story. However, many channels will focus more towards one than the other. So for example, on my channel, Adobe Masters, I am very, very heavily sort of pushed towards the evergreen content. And that is because what I do is I make tutorials, and tutorials usually stay good for a very long time. So you'll see what I try to do is I try to find a problem, and then I teach that problem, and I post a video about that problem. These can be watched in any order, any way, shape, or form. There's no sort of rhyme or reason to the order of them. There's no rhyme or reason to when one was posted or anything like that. And that's because they're evergreen videos. They're videos that are posted to fill a problem and for people to be searching on YouTube or on Google and to come and get this sort of content from it. The thing about evergreen videos is that sort of consistency and, more importantly, quantity is important. Think of it like this. When you post your first video on YouTube, you have a chance of, let's say, 1 over the amount of videos on YouTube that someone could randomly stumble onto it. If you post 2 videos, you double that chance. You post 4 videos, you double the chance from the 2 videos. 8 videos, you double the chance from the 4 videos. And so on and so on. 16, 32, 64. You can keep doubling the chances of people stumbling onto your videos. And since you are very search-based, you're trying to get views from people searching for problems, the more videos you have, the better. The more content you have, the better. So with these, I recommend trying to post as much content as possible. Maybe once every other day, once a day, or just trying to like throw out 8 or so a weekend or something like that. Trying to throw out as much content as possible and capturing as much of the market as possible. With high quality videos, quantity and quality are both important here. But if you can, sort of start capturing the entire of people's searches, you'll start gaining more and more views because you're going to start capturing more and more people that are looking for different problems. And whenever you fill their problem, they'll come to you. And then after a while, you start gaining a reputation of this is the person who always explains it in the way that I like. So when they search for a video, they'll look for yours first. And so that all comes down to the importance of what an evergreen video is that it is a video that captures a problem. It solves a problem, and it is good for a long time. So you want to put as many videos out there as possible to get as many searches as possible. Now, you can also mix it up. Peter McKinnon is a very, very prominent YouTuber right now, and you'll see that he has a very sort of mixed version of this. We have these sort of evergreen videos right here, the easy DIY overhead camera rig. That's something that people could watch 5-6 years from now because they want to see, what's an easy DIY overhead camera rig. It's something that people will come back to, same as what's inside a $6,000 camera. People are going to be interested in that over time. However, he has some story things like I don't like goals. That's sort of more personal for people following his vlog. How to spice up your videos using camera tricks. That's more evergreen. And you see he kind of bounces back and forth between the two. So even though he's a vlogger, he has some evergreen content in there because he knows that it might bring people to his channel and therefore might increase his growth. And we'll discuss sort of the balance a little bit later in building our audience. But right now, I just wanted to go over what is an evergreen video and why, if you're, leaning your channel towards there, what are some goals that you should do as an evergreen video? And like I said, that's to try to post as much high quality content as possible on a consistent basis. So you want something that people will want to come and search for your videos first before looking for other videos. The other type of content you can create, like I've mentioned before, is the recurring story type of content. And so basically what you want to do with a recurring story is you want to create a program that people want to tune into. And this requires consistency. This requires that you post videos on a frequent basis that follow a same sort of format. And you have to keep posting because you might not get popular until maybe 50, 60, 70 of these videos go up and people start jumping into the chain somewhere and then watching the chain all the way up until the present moment. Then they subscribe and they continue watching the chain. One of the groups that does this pretty well is Wong Fu Productions. This is their side channel, More Wong Fu. And they do this thing called Lunch Break where they basically just sit around, talk about different life things while eating food. And it's supposed to be that you can sit there and watch with them and it feels like you're all having a little lunch break together. It's a really neat sort of idea, and the cast, which is just the people who create the original Wong Fu Productions stuff, it's a very relatable cast. So people a lot of times come back to this and they love every new update, and people want to tune into this program. So what they do is they release it on a consistent basis, they have a consistent format, and they just create content, basically just, really authentic content that people want to keep coming back to and keep watching. If they posted one every day or, every 3 hours or something, it wouldn't necessarily get them more popularity or more views than if they posted them once a week or twice a week. And this is just because people are coming to watch the program. If you start posting more and more and more, you'll actually start overwhelming your audience a little bit and they won't be able to catch up. They'll feel like they fell behind, and then they might just stop watching. So having a real consistent key, something that people can look forward to in the week, is a great idea whenever you're doing recurring story. Sam and Nico also do this sort of idea. Although a lot of theirs have gone towards advertisements, they still try to make them really entertaining and sort of like almost like a reality show. And they also hit trends, and that's something that you can do with a recurring story, is if you try to sort of talk about something that's in current affairs, media, stuff like that, trends going on, fads, you'll actually gain people because a lot of people are searching for that. And some people might want to come and watch what your opinion is on it. So that's a good way to get sort of some views whenever you're creating recurring story sort of content. It's that every once in a while, throw a fad in there, throw some trend that's going on, throw your reaction to it. And you'll see that it works pretty well because it can get you. Now, once you get to the edge of clickbait, you can sort of get some negative press, and that's not always the worst thing in the world. However, it can create a group of people that are trying to basically bring your channel down. So sort of look at the line, try to find the line, and just sort of try to work around it and get post content that is high quality and post it consistently so people can actually get sort of accustomed to watching your videos every once in a while. And you'll start having your recurring story videos gain a little bit more views as well. So if you're leaning towards this in your YouTube channel, this is some of the ideas, is maybe post on a consistent basis, get a format that is very similar so that you can keep posting stuff around that format and people know what to expect. People will want to subscribe because they want more of that content. The next thing you want to do is you want to check your competition. So you've got an idea set. Maybe you have some ideas about some of the content you want to create, whether it be evergreen or recurring story. Now let's look if anyone else is doing the same thing. So for example, I just searched for craft vlog, and here are all of the results that came up. And we can see that there are a bunch of different results here. And what we want to check is if anyone doing something similar to what we're doing. So for example, maybe this first video, craft vlog number 6, that sounds like she does it on a consistent basis. So we check in and we do see that there are some craft vlogs, but she does some other things as well throughout here, just sort of anything related to craft and maybe even some vlogging stuff you can see down here. So we could check this out, and maybe this is the type of content we want to create, something similar, so we can look in and see maybe what she's doing, what is getting her the most views, analyze her videos, and see which ones are most popular. If she isn't doing what we want, that's not necessarily a bad sign, because now we know that maybe our niche is different. There's a good community for vlogging with about crafts, so maybe we can go in a slightly different direction. Maybe instead of all this sort of cute things, we could go sort of more like Halloween themed things or different areas. And we can find a niche that maybe we could fit into that we really enjoy, that'll get us views and won't directly compete. Sometimes, though, you do need to directly compete with different people. Maybe you want to create something that's extremely similar to this up here, and that's okay too. You just need to find out, which we're going to talk about in the next video, is making your channel unique, making something unique that people will come to your video as well as her video. Because like I said, direct competition earlier, but it doesn't have to always be direct. People that watch this video might want to come and watch your video as well, and vice versa. You could build a community basically together. And so, you know, just kind of go down here and look at what other people are doing in the craft vlog sort of realm. Another example is, let's say you wanted to create something on snowboarding, consistent snowboarding, maybe tutorials. And we can see there's a snowboard pro camp right here, and it looks like that they probably post a lot of snowboarding type videos. Looks maybe even on sort of the vlog side of things, but they also have some tutorial videos in there. So you'd check this one out, see what they're doing well, see how you could do something similar but slightly different to set yourself apart. So checking the competition is something that is really important. Going through, looking at different videos, analyzing maybe what different people are doing, looking at different people in all different realms, and you can start just understanding how the competition is working, what's working for other people, and how can I be just a little bit different. So now that we have a good understanding of maybe an idea that we want to go, and then maybe some content we want to create, and we've checked out the competition a little bit, let's discuss making your channel unique so that it stands out. And standing out is important because maybe the niche that you want to go for has already some popular YouTubers in it. And this is not necessarily a bad thing. It means that that niche is popular. But if you create content exactly the same as those other 2 YouTubers or 3 YouTubers or 4 YouTubers, then people aren't going to come to your video because it's going to be more of the same. So what you need to do is find a way to create a unique spin to your channel. Do something in that same niche and realm that is different than what everyone else is doing. For example, in the crafts realm, you could do, maybe there's cute crafts. Like I said, there's maybe some scary crafts. Maybe you want to do only Japanese crafts. Maybe you want to do only Italian crafts. Maybe you want to do only DIY crafts that you can do under 5 minutes, or maybe you want to do long form crafts. There's a whole bunch of different little niches, and then once you find the sort of the niche inside the niche, then you can even add some different things to make the channel a part of you. Filmright does this pretty well. They teach filmmaking techniques, and there are a couple of YouTube channels on YouTube that do this, that teach filmmaking techniques. However, they have this sort of very dry, quirky, dark humor about them that makes people really just want to watch every one of their tutorials. Even if it's just 8 minutes, there's a video in here in Filmright that's literally just 8 minutes of one of their main characters, Josh, just standing there saying, yeah, I'm not going to make a video today. And it's hilarious. It makes people want to watch it because he's so funny in the way he does it. People come back to see not only the techniques that they learn, but also to have a good laugh with these skits and the way that they present the content to you. Even their advertisements, they make the advertisement skits that are really funny so that it never breaks the sort of the learning or the entertainment value throughout it. So Filmright is a very good example. If you want to go check out them, go watch, and they have very quirky humor, very fun, sometimes dark humor that just makes you want to come back. Another one is Andrew Wong. I've talked about him a couple times just because he is a pretty good YouTuber. Basically, what I just wanted to show you here was that he has this really neat sort of way of doing this, and I just want to show you, watch every single video, he has this unique element. So after whatever the intro is, he does that high five. Every single time he does that high five. So there'll be some intro, and then there'll be something that everyone is expecting, the high five. And it's just very, very sort of something that you want to come back and watch again and again and again. It makes you feel like you're watching an Andrew Wong video with that high five. There's even one where he doesn't do it for like the first 2 or 3 minutes, and then he's like, oh, you guys thought I forgot, and then he does the high five. It's just something that makes him unique. Even though it's small, it makes people know that they're watching an Andrew Wong video when he high fives you. So going through and checking out different channels and looking at the competition, looking at how they might spin things, try to add some of those things to yours and then spin them in your own way. Come up with something that's different than what the competition is doing within your niche. And you can find a lot of success that way because there might be people out there looking for that. And then people that branch off from Film Riot, for example, if you wanted to create something similar to Film Riot, you might be able to create something that's in a completely different direction, but that still teaches filmmaking techniques. And people will want to watch Film Riot and yours at the same time because they still want to learn filmmaking, but each one of yours and Film Riot are both going to give you a sort of a different experience. They'll give you the lessons, they'll give you the tutorials, but they'll give you a different entertainment value. And that's what you want to create, is find that niche, find that uniqueness, make your channel your own. Now that we have a good understanding of where we might want to go with our channel, maybe a good idea, some unique features that we can use to make us stand out, let's also talk about another sort of important point and something I want to help drive home. And that is you need a consistent channel style. So this kind of ties back into the last video, which was on building unique channel features. You want to build a style that's going to set your channel apart so that right when someone goes to your channel or sees one of your thumbnails, they know it's your video. They understand that it's your content they're seeing because it's a brand, it's a style that they are used to, and it's something that'll make them happy and make them want to click on it. They'll go to their subscription feed and they'll be happy every time they see one of your thumbnails. And that's very important, is because that's what gets you the recurring sort of traffic, which gets you the growth that you're looking for. So let's take a look at a couple of YouTubers that have some really good style about them. This is a sort of a smaller YouTube channel, 118,000 subscribers, but it has some really good channel style, and that is Snowman Gaming. So I'm sure that he probably started off this channel not going with this style 100%. But when he started gaining popularity, he started to understand that the Snowman Gaming is sort of what he is. So making everything winter themed is kind of what works for this channel. If you'll notice all of the sort of game design thumbnails here, he has it in a sort of winter, you could call it like a direction. There's like very winter elements to these. And these are his core videos. These are kind of what people subscribe for, and the other stuff are just sort of what people come around to watch. But these are the core videos, and you'll notice that the thumbnails on them are all sort of with his style. And it works really well because whenever you see one of these, you want to jump in and understand what his dissection of the game is and why it is so, important in the game design world. It's a really neat channel, and I love the style that he went with. He sort of went with what his name was and created a style around that. Another one is a frequent one that I've talked about, and that is Sam and Nico. And that is just because that you have these right here. The thumbnails are 100% consistent throughout the entirety of the channel. Every single thumbnail is the same. It has the same colors, their emblem in the top, and then the same cast all the way through here, which is pretty neat in all regards. And then finally, I wanted to just go over what I do on mine because that's one I can talk about most personally. And that is, I just create the same sort of thumbnail on each one of my videos, and then I have it color-coded to whatever Adobe program I'm talking about. So the Adobe sort of Premiere purple, and then I put a thumbnail behind it, and I put some words over top of that. And you see that my thumbnails are all pretty much consistent. Sometimes I don't create a thumbnail. That's some of my older videos. You see that's over a year ago. And I go back and I'm slowly adding thumbnails to all of them so that I have a consistent design throughout all of my channel. Because if you notice, I don't have any here as well. And creating that will be very important. But that is sort of what I went with. I went with the blue colors of my logo and then just these thumbnails that are always the same. If you see in all of my most recent videos, they're exactly the same. Just depending on whatever software I am using. I use that border and then I use that emblem in the top left. So creating a channel style is something that's really important. It creates a brand around your channel. It makes people excited to watch your videos, and that is really important. I wanted to leave this section with another point, and this is something that is very important whenever you're building your niche, is to make sure that you stick with your niche, to make sure you refine it down to something that you can stick with consistently. If you jump between a bunch of different formats, you will have a bunch of different sort of audiences you're trying to build, a bunch of different places you're trying to target, and that'll make you basically not be able to target any of them. Instead of targeting one specifically, you're kind of targeting a bunch of them, and that just doesn't work when there's so many YouTube channels out there. So one of the most important things is to make sure you have a niche and you stick with the niche. Now, when you start out, a little bit of experimentation. Maybe you don't know if this part of the niche or this part of the niche will work better. Like maybe if you're in crafts, you don't know if these sort of long form 30-minute videos or maybe the 5-minute videos work the best. So of course, experiment around with that and figure that stuff out. But don't try to go crafts and then a vlog and then a travel diary all in the same channel. That will create this sort of hodgepodge of a bunch of different stuff coming together, and that's the biggest mistake I see with new YouTube channels, is they're just trying to put out literally anything they want onto their channel, and that doesn't work because, like I said, people subscribe for a certain type of content, and whenever you post just random stuff, people don't know what they're subscribing to. They'll check one video out, they'll look at your channel and be like, there's not really going to be anything else like this one video I liked, so they'll leave. They'll move on to something else. So if you notice, like for example, right here, Andrew Wong, he does only music stuff. There isn't a life vlog or anything else like that. Maybe once in a while he does a little travel log, but he is also established, so he can kind of do some of this stuff. But you can see that there's all this music stuff on here. He doesn't ever jump out of that. And if he wanted to, he could maybe create another channel, like a Andrew Wong 2 or something, where he could do some of that sort of stuff, and that would work. But on his main channel, it's music. On Snowman Gaming, it's gaming. There's everything around the gaming with sort of game design and stuff like that, but it sticks to the gaming philosophy. And same with the other ones I've mentioned, like Sam and Nico and stuff like that. You must stick with your sort of niche. If you break apart and you try to become just post literally anything that you want, you will fall out of your niche, and that is the biggest mistake I see. It'll really reduce your growth, and no one will want to continue to come back and watch your videos. So make sure that you focus it down. If you got an idea, try to see if you can make it even more specific and see if you can really bring it down to something, a core sort of niche or core sort of market that you're targeting.